Hello everyone, my name is Teacher Neri. I'm back, and in today's video, I'm going to help you improve your vocabulary by learning euphemisms.
With a simple activity, okay? Yeah.
Two words used in dining. Discussing sensitive topics can be a little bit tricky, but topics like death, toilet, getting fired are everyday topics that some people, believe me, consider to be taboo topics, which means if you talk about them directly, they may think that you are rude or offensive. And that's why we have euphemisms. Euphemism refers to polite or indirect expressions that replace words or phrases considered to be harsh or impolite, or which suggest something unpleasant. In today's video, I'm going to explore common and amusing ways to talk about these taboo topics using euphemisms.
There are an incredible number of euphemisms for death that are used in formal situations like at a funeral, in obituaries, polite conversation, and among strangers. These can include passed away, deceased, departed, resting in peace, at rest, taking one's last breath. We also have in a better place, no longer with us, return to earth, went to heaven, bit the dust, kicked the bucket. There may be more or less 100 euphemisms for death. Euphemisms for death and dying are often used to protect someone, whether it's the person speaking the words or those hearing them. We may be looking for a more gentle way to deliver the news of death to someone, or a way to provide comfort despite the grief of the situation. Next is toilet. The word toilet has garnered more than its fair share of euphemism. People try to sugarcoat this word because the term toilet can be considered unpleasant or impolite. Here are some acceptable toilet euphemisms. Bathroom. The word bathroom is the best and least offensive term to describe both place and action. Powder room, ladies' room, men's room, washroom, restroom. Then we have the loo. You can probably only get away with this one if you've been gifted with a British accent. Next is lavatory. Some people use lavatory, but this is strangely very formal. Lastly, WC or water closet. Though this is not commonly used, it's often used on public signage in Britain. Up next is euphemisms for the word poor. Though some people might argue that the word poor is both descriptive and inoffensive, people tend to use polite expressions to avoid being too harsh and maybe protect other people from the realities of life. Let's look at these examples. We have scholarship programs for economically disadvantaged students. This organization provides assistance to needy families in Manila. Most low-income Filipinos are in favor of the law. Art and music have been cut from many schools which serve the underprivileged. The church will be collecting Christmas gifts to donate to families in need. Throughout much of the world, unemployment remains a problem. Yet of all those people who have lost their jobs, few were ever told, "You're fired." Instead, people have been using several polite ways to express harsh and unpleasant truth of getting fired to sound milder and more sensitive. The unfortunate occasion of being dismissed from employment can be expressed in numerous ways. Some of the more familiar expressions are to be made redundant, to receive a pink slip, to be dismissed, to be discharged, to be laid off, to be let go, to be booted out, to be sacked, and to get the axe. Because fat has become an insult, it still makes people uncomfortable when we use the word. So when describing people's bodies and for fear of them or those around us taking serious offense, it's no surprise that we've come up with euphemisms for fat. Here are some popular ones. Big-boned, plus-sized, curvy, voluptuous, chubby, plump, overweight, heavy. So next time you want to describe someone as fat, you may want to soften the blow by using these polite expressions. Next is euphemisms for saying that someone is ugly. He's got a face that only a mother could love. He's got a great face for radio. He looks like the back of a bus. Betty always felt like she was a plain Jane. Though we have these euphemisms for calling someone ugly, I still think it is really mean to say that someone is ugly. To me, calling someone ugly reflects more on the person saying someone is ugly than on the person they are calling ugly, as a good person would never say that. Besides, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. What one person thinks of as ugly may be beautiful for thousands or more others. In an effort to be polite and respectful, people came up with different euphemisms to describe people with disabilities. However, there has been a lot of confusion and debates whether it is offensive to say that someone is disabled. But for the sake of learning English, we're going to explore some common expressions people use to describe disability. Here are some of them. Special needs, differently abled or disabled, mentally challenged, physically challenged, handy capable, wheelchair bound. It's up to you whether you want to use these euphemisms, because really, some people get offended by these. Remember, never say a disabled person or the disabled. Say a person or people with disabilities. Put the person first and the impairment second when it's relevant. A disability is what someone has, not what someone is. For instance, mentally ill is less respectful than person with mental health issues. Retarded is never an appropriate term. Now, here are some more common euphemisms you might be interested in learning. Put to sleep instead of euthanize. Pregnancy termination instead of abortion. Correctional facility instead of jail. Between jobs instead of unemployed. Negative cash flow instead of broke. Powder your nose instead of going to the toilet. Blow chunks instead of vomit. Over the hill instead of very old. Comfort woman instead of prostitute. Self-service instead of masturbation. Sleep with instead of sexual intercourse. Gentleman friend instead of lover. Private part instead of sexual organ. Shoot blanks instead of sterile. Call of nature instead of urinate or defecate. And collateral damage for civilian casualties in war.